everyone, and welcome back to A Tale of Wizards and Bribes, where we play Dungeons and Dragons in the Blood Bowl universe. Hey guys, good to see you again.
Hey everyone.
Yeah.
So, Allard, do you want to remind us who killed your favorite NPC?
There's no such thing. That was all a dream. We just woke up.
It's very sad. As you might hear from the background, the noise, the rain is coming down and the thunder is striking. And that's because the heavens themselves are crying, because the true hero of our story has passed away. Lenric Balin, who was beloved by all, and basically the hero of the team, Lenkster Shield, and basically was carrying everything by himself, has been brutally murdered while trying to help a group of deformed women. And the one who killed him was actually Alexei. So it's really sad.
Now, he'd been falling from his high place for a long time. There's rumors of debts and crazy stuff going on, so it's not that surprising that he would stoop to such lows.
Are we talking about me?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I've stooped to no lows.
So for those of you who weren't following the story this closely, that's a bit of a mischaracterization of both of them.
I think it might be fun to have a session which is all about everyone saying nice words about Lenric and what a great person he was. And even all the viewers can say a few words about how they liked him. And that's basically the entire session.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, everyone can just say a few words. No, but Lenric, it was the session in which Lenric died. That much was true. But Lenric... well, he did want to have a few deformed women changed. That much is true as well, I suppose. But he did it all for his own gain, obviously. And Lenric has done all sorts of other stuff, which has made him a bit of a deplorable human being altogether. And
he wanted me to risk these women's lives in order to pimp them out.
Yeah. Well, they did what the women did. At least some of them were like, okay, well... Yeah. Okay. I don't know why I'm still trying to defend him.
You love the guy, admit it.
Yeah, he's great. He's a great guy. But no. Obviously, you had to put a stop to Lenric sooner or later, and you decided that it had to be sooner instead of later. And now Lenric lies dead on the ground. The remnants of his sunglasses floating off with a bit of water. And his blood mixing with the water as well. It's all
this to the background sound of that music at the end of the whole TV series where he walks off. It's like, remember that sad music?
Yeah,
That's the one. That's my buddy.
You can also, if you prefer, add a random anime ending to it. Most of those work as well, except for the really happy, girly ones. That's probably not too fitting for this moment. But
I won't comment on all its private tastes.
No. All right, fair enough. But that's kind of where we're starting. Lenric is dead. Alexei is standing over his corpse. The women are saved and inside the cage. Well, what do you guys do?
I think our first priority was to actually get the women out. So, and I was gonna go over his body because he is a wizard after all. I do believe I went and saw if I could find something useful on there.
Well, obviously he has a spell book and a few scrolls, but we'll go over all of that in more detail when you really have time to look over all of it.
First thing is keys.
It was raining, right? So
yeah.
It's
rain and there's thunder. There's a real storm brewing, starting to brew, as even the heavens themselves seem outraged by what has happened.
Did we actually kill everyone with him except for the girls?
I think we might have even killed some girls. Yes, why?
The guards, yes, they're not doing well. One of the guards is dead. The other one is still alive.
Maybe we no witnesses. Kirk.
That seems a bit excessive, maybe.
I was saying no witnesses this whole time, so...
Yes, I'm actually with Clerk on this one.
Yeah, but you do know Glur's going to try and kill us in like 5 minutes. The whole no witnesses thing.
No, you guys are fine. I don't know about her, 'cause, you know, I don't know her. But, like...
Who is she again?
We killed the guards, and then we killed and then we killed the girls, and then maybe that girl, the reporter girl, and then we go...
No, don't kill me!
Alexei, I'll buy you a beer.
That's a good idea.
The thing is, if we want to not be killed for this, we might want to make sure that the ones we let leave this place tells our story and not the story of how we killed an innocent man or something. Not that he was innocent because it was a douchebag, but I mean that's not.
I'm not sure being a douchebag is an actual crime. Just saying.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Well, the girl's
should be.
Yeah, the girl's story might actually help our case. That's
yes, but the question is, will the guards?
I think if we just walk away, they might just... This problem will probably disappear on its own.
You see the one guard that isn't dead. He's kind of slowly waking up as you're talking. And he's pushes himself up halfway. And he looks at you. He said, What did you do?
Nothing.
Where's Lenric?
He's sick. We're taking him to a healer.
I don't know where she's
Wizard, heal him.
What?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Is anybody watching us? Because I'm
I mean,
I might actually execute this guy.
The place you are is basically an abandoned village. So there's you guys, the girls in the cage, who are let out of the cage.
All right, so I walk up to this guy, I grab him, I basically pull him up to close to my face and say, "Look, you have two options. Either you tell my story, or you tell your story, and your story is going to get yourself killed." What story are you about to tell? Telling my story will also get you paid.
That sounds good.
I thought so. So, how about you brush yourself up, get up, and join us on our way back to civilization?
Wow, you guys... Oh, you hit hard.
That's kind of what we do.
I know.
Can I ask one thing, though?
Not sure. Are you expecting an answer to that question that you're about to ask?
Go on then.
Why did you do it?
My reasons are my own.
Okay, that's fair enough.
He so wants to be the new head coach.
But I execute you to
The guard?
Yes, the guard wants to be the new head coach. Clever guy, that one. So, you guys, I guess, eventually decide to go back towards Risted. It's quite a ways to walk, anyway.
I think we need to get all the dirt on Lenric from his offices and stuff before the news of his death becomes public.
Yes.
As in right now.
Yes, you've been there, right?
Yeah. I don't think the alarm
get in
spell
again?
It should be easier now that I have these. Did I get the keys? from
Yeah.
Lenric? Good.
Yeah.
It should be a lot easier now that I have these.
Yeah, totes.
All right.
But what else?
What else?
Lurk, do you think is he your uncle? The dude at the bar?
I mean, kind of, yeah.
Okay. Do you think he knows things about Lenric that we don't know?
Maybe.
Bad things. Bad things.
I mean, he knows a lot of bad things. I don't know specifically what he knows.
Well, should we split up and two of us go talk to Lurk's uncle and two of us go to his house?
Well, I need to go report to my uncle anyway. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean, getting back to Ristad is basically, I mean, all of those things are in Ristad, and you know, it just makes sense for you guys to travel together until you get there. So you guys travel in that direction, and the guard is walking along with you. He's not having an easy time of it, obviously.
Is he a city guard, or is he just like a guard who was, kind of a merc who was hired?
He works for the Von Rakovs. So he's his city guard.
Can I cast Cure Wounds on him, the guard?
Yes, you can.
We'll take the guard tomorrow.
To your uncle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alexa,
but
you
if
wanna
he
come
has
with me,
issues walking.
my uncle.
Well, you're
That
sort of
makes sense.
discussing what you're going to do with the guard, and as you're walking, one of the girls, who seems to be the least frightened out of the three, looks at Siegfried and says, "So, all of this stuff that he was saying, were they all
Yes.
lies? Were we some sort of part of an experiment?"
He wanted me to alter your bodies in order to sell you off. If you have a problem with, that, which I could totally understand, then I could be convinced to help you
Yes,
out.
she has thick bulges on her face and parts of her bodies that you can see. Clearly, she suffers from some sort of disease which has left effects
thick
on
bulges
her.
all over her body.
I'm not sure I could cure you, but I could cure the aesthetics of this situation at the very least.
The disease has already passed, and I survived. So that's not the problem.
Okay.
The problem is what I look like.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we could help with that, but maybe we should wait until after we've talked to Galen. Also, I mean, this stuff takes a little over an hour, and we're kind of in the middle of something. But yes, I could probably
I've
fix
looked like
you.
this for years now. I can wait for a while longer, but it sounds like you're in a difficult situation, and I wouldn't mind, for as much as my say is worth it, being a clearly disease-ridden woman. But, I can say whatever you want if you're going to help me.
That sounds like a good idea. How did Lenric treat you guys, girls, ladies?
Oh, not very well, but to be honest, I'm not accustomed to anything better.
Yeah. Well, let's just make sure that we don't paint too positive a light of him, shall we?
Yes, that makes sense.
And
So we have a deal.
if at the end of the day I'm not rotting in a cell somewhere, I'll gladly do whatever I can to help you out.
Okay,
From a gallows.
that's good.
Or hanging from a gallows. Yeah, exactly.
She seems very pleased. You continue your walk. The rain gets worse and worse, and so does the lightning. And by the end of your journey, it's actually getting very rough for you to walk through the storm. I mean, you guys are able-bodied men and women, so you'll manage. But you would imagine that for a lot of people walking out here in these circumstances,
such as the 3 disfigured.
Yeah, they are having a hard time of it, and so is the guard. Is there anything you guys do to try to help them get back to Risted?
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, that's just me.
Yeah, I understand.
I assume these other bleeding hearts will do something.
I walk over to the guard and basically pull his arm over my shoulder and lift the weight of his legs and help him move. And whilst I'm doing that, I'm actually telling him, look, I don't want to have to hurt you even more. As far as I'm concerned, you're just an innocent bystander to what happened. You can have a fine life, and you can have a fine career as a guard. Just keep your head down. You don't need to get involved in all of this.
Look, I just picked the wrong horse.
That's it. And just remember, we could have left you there. We didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that.
You could have also said something about what the hell was going on there.
Are you talking to me or to him?
Him, the guard.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean?
Lenric was doing a lot of nasty shit that had no relation to coaching a team or any of that. I'm assuming this is not news to you.
Sure, but I mean, Lenric is one of the people in charge of this town, you know? Who am I to say that he shouldn't do what he does? Just a guard.
Common decency.
You work for the von Raukovs, yes?
Well, sure, but I mean, in practicality, that also means taking orders from Lenric. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Vasily, I mean, that guy, that kid basically loves him.
Oh God, Vasily. Oh, that's going to be an issue. That's Lenric, that's Galen's nephew, I think?
Yeah, that's Galen's nephew, yeah.
He's
the next in line. Yeah.
Oh. He's a big fan of Lenric's, isn't he?
Yeah, so I mean, if Vasily pretty much would, allow Lenric to do whatever he wants, and I mean, of course, Galen doesn't agree with it, but I mean, politics. I work more for Vasily.
I think it's probably a good idea if you stay with Clerk's uncle for the time being.
I mean, sure.
Well, let's go back there first, and then we'll figure things out.
All right.
Sounds like a plan.
You guys get back to Risted, and by the time you guys get there, the storm has gotten extremely strong, and there's panic and screaming on the streets as you get there. There are things flying through the air, and
like debris, or
yeah, debris. Yeah.
Is there a horse with painted makeup on?
Yeah, there is a horse, a painted horse, flying through the air.
It is debris.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
does this seem to be the storm or something else?
This seems to be the storm. The storm has gotten to a point. It's just really, really extreme, and you're worried that, you know, Ristad will probably hold up to some degree if things stay the way they are. But there's obviously a lot of farmland around Ristad as well, and they're probably suffering. And this is proven by the fact that when you get there, you can see that there are farmers present and guards, and the farmers and the guards are shouting in panic. And you also see a few of your team's players there as well. And as one of the guards spots you, he walks towards you, and he looks first at Alexei and says, "Sir, things are a big mess."
What's wrong?
It's the storm. It's
a storm. Just get people inside.
Yes, but the farms, several farms are very, very badly damaged. There are barns which are falling apart. People who are apparently trapped.
All right.
They need help.
All right. Well, let's form a team together of able-bodied men, and we'll go out and get those people out. But the people right now, get the women and children inside. So you standing here with all these people who can't help or won't help. Get some people together who can help. Form a team, and get out and save those people.
He nods. Yeah. He says, "Sure."
I basically look at Glurk and say, "Glurk, if you're going to your uncle, take this guy." And I lift over the guard towards you, because apparently there's some people who need saving from crashed out barns.
Sounds
My character basically says, "All right, let's go." I call the guard with me to start forming some people together, and I'm screaming and shouting to get some farmers to get off their asses.
Yeah.
This sounds like somebody else's problem.
I look at you and says, "No, this is the city's problem, and if we're trying to help the city, then we should help these people as well."
I'll quickly do what happens. I'll quickly cover what happens to Glurk when he gets to Tyron. When you get to your uncle's place, he and his men are already outside, and they seem to be getting ready. And when he sees you, he smiles a big smile, and he says, "Glurk, this is a time for you to shine." "Who's this fellow?" He gestures to the guard next to you.
He's a... Oh no, I think we may have to kill him.
The guard says, "No, you don't need to kill me."
No, just, I mean, he... Alright, we got, like... So, stuff happened, right?
Yeah.
And...
Can we just lock this guy up for now? And
Yeah. Take him away.
All right. He gestures to one of the guys, and he's dragged inside. And Tyron walks up to Glurk and places his hands on his shoulders and says, "Listen, this entire place, the support of it is those farmlands out there. And we are going to go out there and make sure that those farmers remember that we played a very important part in saving their asses. That's what we're going to do. Sound good?"
We might have slightly bigger problems.
You tell me about them as we go.
Alright, boss.
All right. Let's play that out so you guys go to join the others, and he says, "So, what's going on?"
One of our friends, who you assigned me to look after, may have gone a little off course on the whole investigating that guy.
Sort of to be expected, but what do you mean with going off course?
Well, he stomped his head into the ground.
Wait.
Brains everywhere. Man is extremely dead. Like flathead dead.
You killed Lenric?
I didn't kill him, no. I was busy dealing with the guards.
Who killed him?
Alexei.
Wow. That's unexpected. I didn't think he would do it.
Maybe we could use him as a knife man or foot man, I guess.
I mean, this is big. This is big, but I mean, it might be for the best. We'll figure it out.
Well, there are a few witnesses. Is the problem? That guard there and a couple of women. I said we should kill them.
I don't think that guy's gonna talk, and I don't know who these couple of women are, but unless they're very brave, I don't think they're gonna talk either.
They're very bumpy. Bumpy, yeah.
I have no idea what you mean with that.
Well, they got bumps on their faces and stuff.
Right. Disfigured of some sort. All
yeah,
right.
probably.
Well, they don't sound like the most, influential of people.
No.
So I think that'll be all right.
We'll take.
Glurk, all of this has got me pretty excited.
Yeah.
He puts an arm around your shoulder and says, "I feel like things are going right way for us."
Really? Because feels like everything's gone wrong recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Guess it all depends on your point of view.
Well, you tend to see more points of view than me, boss.
Well, that's fair enough. Right, let's save these villagers first, and afterwards, let's build our empire.
All right.
So let's go over to what happens at the farms. So you guys, the rest of you get there first, but Glurk and his uncle and everyone else will get there pretty much soon after. But there's
just one thing. I think we should offer Gale and Siegfried the opportunity to not go, because basically Alexei wants to go. We believe that at least Siegfried was in doubt of going at all.
I consider getting the dirt on Lenric to be more important than whatever I can do to go.
All right.
Help.
So Siegfried is not going.
Yeah, well, at least not immediately. I don't mind. I don't mind having a quick snoop around the offices of Lenric, making sure I get what I can, and then seeing what I can do.
I mean, I think a quick snoop around will probably take a little bit longer. But I mean, you'll probably still get there before the entire thing is resolved. So. I mean, let's go quickly over the snooping around thing. You look around there, you find some documents. Lenric didn't document too much, but at least you know who worked for him. So you do know that.
And the incriminating letters I saw before, which pointed to the contact that he was trying to sell the team off to.
And those you don't find.
Oh, crap. All right. Well, what I do is I take my scroll of Xerox and quickly go through all the paperwork I can find, grab my copies of it. So as I cast from the scroll, you can see all of the papers in the room start to float around me, and there's I think about a dozen quills scribbling furiously, copying all of the paperwork present here, and a minute later, I'm out with a stack of paper.
Perfect.
I made a spell! I made a spell! It's so cool!
Does Gale do anything before dealing with the entire storm issue?
No, she's dealing with the storm.
All right.
If
cool.
Siegfried goes to him, I'll go with Alexei.
So Alexei and Gil will get there first. Basically, there is a large farm with a big barn attached to it with a lot of cows and horses in it. And the entire complex looks like it's about to collapse.
See, the horses, they're wearing makeup.
I want to keep this a little bit freeform in the way that there's a lot of people doing a lot of stuff, and it's a real mammoth of a task to make sure that this doesn't go entirely wrong, because there's people trapped inside of the building, there are people lost, there are animals that are trapped, there are animals that are panicked, there's food that's threatened to be lost.
All right, so the priority should be, I'm guessing, the rescue the people that we can see are trapped, then move over to the people that are lost.
I think it's the most fun to roleplay it like this. To tell me what your character does.
Right,
So we won't go over it in too much detail, but just be like, this is what I intend to do, and then we'll see a check of 1 or 2 dice results, and then based on it, I'll decide how well it can go.
All right. So just for me, before we start, Gil is a healer, right? Or at least has the capacity to heal.
Yeah, I have cure wounds, yes,
Right.
and revivify, so I can do that.
All right. So I'm gonna try and get a group of guys together to at least get the people who were trapped, who might be presumably wounded, out as first, so that we can get them to Gil, at least stabilize them if they're in too bad of a shape.
So you're going into the barn where there are people trapped.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Dragging them out.
Yeah.
All right.
Trying to motivate people to follow me into that.
That sounds like a pretty physical
That's
endeavor.
like my worst thing. I'm not just
So I think a combination of athletics and acrobatics would make sense.
All right.
You should try to squeeze yourself to a place.
That sounds completely reasonable. Just let's hope I survive it.
Okay.
So I'll do athletics first, and I'll follow that up by the acrobatics.
All right.
Average.
So Alexei gets in there, and actually, before I go into that, I'd like to know what Gil's intentions are at the same time.
I want to heal as many as possible,
All right,
with the little I have.
So you're basically going to stay outside, and you're going to wait for people to be brought to you, and then you heal them. Actually, that sounds like the kind of stuff that you don't particularly need to roll a check for, because your healing is magical anyway. So,
well, I'm going to assume that her healing is going to run out at some point, so she might have to be forced to use bandages and medicine or something.
Do you have anything like that?
You have medicine?
I have.
Medicine? I don't know if it's called medicine in this.
It's a tool proficiency, I think.
There is.
No, there's also a skill actually.
There is a skill for it.
There's good, because I was talking about my role-playing games mixed up.
Medicine, yes. But Gil is more of a... No. But I mean, Gil is a very inspirational person in the sense that she has a lot of charisma as well. So perhaps...
inspired to survive.
Inspiring people in some sense, or perhaps coordinating them is something that would make sense.
Yeah,
shove that humerus back in.
Ew!
I see something dangling from your esophagus. Put it back in.
Yes.
But do it enthusiastically.
Believe in yourself.
I can't feel my legs. Just believe in yourself, and you might eventually.
You're the world's worst life coach.
Healing is 50% mental.
Yeah.
All right.
I think I'm dying. Don't go to the light.
Don't believe it. All right. Does that make sense to you, Caff? Something in that regard?
Yes.
So more the coordinating or more the motivational part?
I would probably be coordinating more than trying to motivate people.
I think persuasion is probably the most accurate skill for that, right?
Okay, so I just click that one?
Yeah. Let's see a check for that.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I clicked it twice. That was not intended.
Oh, there. Okay. Well, the coordinating doesn't go too well. But, I mean, obviously your healing spells are of great use. People don't listen to you, which might be a bit aggravating, but... I mean,
they can't hear me over the sound of the storm. That's why.
They're going towards the light.
That might be. I mean, they're healed.
No, I said,
don't listen to her.
Don't go to the light, you dumb piece. Okay, go whatever the fuck you want.
The light.
Look, there's light there. They run into a fire. Ah, it's hot.
But it's also warm.
I was so cold before. All right, anyway.
I can't feel my legs.
In the meantime, Alexei is inside the building together with Durain and Ila. And you are dragging people out of places. And at a certain point, you have everyone except one young boy, which is trapped underneath a log, out. And you're the only one inside at that point.
So no one would notice if I left him.
Yes, that's true.
Don't look at me like that, Sella.
Our hero.
You've done well rescuing everyone else, but at that point, the barn collapses. And Alexia realizes that there's only one way that he could save this boy. And that's that if he does something that he hasn't done.
But I don't run fast. People should know that I'm injured. I cannot fast. I've been faking. There's a reason I'm faking a limp, Alex.
Yes.
All right, so
Alexia must choose between leaving this boy down there or running.
There's no one can see me, right?
Well, I mean, they're not inside, but they probably. You think that Ela or the rain probably have a chance of seeing you?
If I'm really fast, if I might make it work.
You have to choose very fast.
All right. I'm getting the kid.
All right. So Alexei runs to the child who's just surprised.
Kill bad guys. I don't let kids die.
And you run outside, and the barn collapses behind you. And as you stand there outside with the building behind you and the kid crying in your arms,
hero shot.
Rain is looking at you, and he says, "You son of a bitch."
Fuck. I ignore him and bring the kid to Gil.
All right. At this point, everyone else reaches basically where everything is going on. So that means that Glurk and Siegfried and Tyron and all his men show up as well. And
can we panic now? Is this a good time to panic?
I know. No, Tyron says this is a good time to fix everything. So we're going to coordinate everything. And Tyron starts barking out orders. And unless anyone tries to oppose what he's trying to do, Tyron really starts telling people, organizing things and telling people what to do. And clearly he's got some experience in it.
Siegfried sits down, holds this cloak over his spellbook, and starts casting. And it seems like he's going to be at it for a while. He doesn't seem particularly rushed. He's just trying to keep his stuff dry. And he's just sitting there chanting and drawing sigils and minding his own business.
Eventually someone will have to move him because otherwise he might die because of flying the moon.
Yes, maybe. Is there... well, this is kind of going on. I don't know what Glurk is doing. Is he helping his uncle?
He's going to be doing what he's told, basically. If there's orders flying around, he's just.
Tyron tells you, stand behind me, and just do what you do normally.
I draw my warhammer.
I'd like to rage now.
Tyron doesn't seem to mind. He seems okay with it.
Starts hitting debris while it flies around.
Target practice!
As all this craziness is going on and everyone is kind of doing their own thing, what is Gil doing?
Sorry, what I'm doing?
What is Gil doing at this time?
There's a cat trying to...
Yeah, I have a cat. Everyone's running around. Is there anyone who's like almost dead?
Everybody.
No. There are a few people who were seriously injured, but I think you tended to them first with your healing spells, right?
Yeah. Okay, I did that.
Yeah.
In that case, I just listened to Tyron.
Two Tyrant sorters.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Well, all of this is going on in the craziness of everything. Alexei is standing with Durain and Ila a bit to a distance. And Durain is kind of looking at you like, what the fuck? And I hear a sound. No, it was someone chatted, posted a message. It was very funny. And at that point, through the rainstorm, you see a figure looking at you with a wide smile on his face. And after a moment, you realize it's your brother.
Shit.
And he says, "Well, this brings back memories, doesn't it? Always knew you were faking it."
Hello,
So.
Tolly.
Alexei, brother, he walks here over to give you a hug.
I don't respond in the place.
All right, he gives you a hug, and he says, "It's good for us to be back together again.
Good for whom?
For both of us. As if I pretty much saved your ass before. Here to save your ass again. That's what brothers do."
My entire for people who actually see this, my entire character like stance changes in the when his brother is near, so his shoulder starts slouching and he just gets like physically smaller.
Are we here for this? Do we hear this happening?
You're chanting someplace. Leave me alone.
Well, I mean, you might notice. You guys can roll perception checks to see if you might
No perception checks. Fail.
interaction.
Need to make a 20 for that. Ha! Fail.
That's not good.
Mm.
Damn it!
Oh no! Wait, that's why does it say? Why does it call me Durain? Don't call me Durain.
No, that's the raid. You need to.
I got
ahead.
this. I
The
see
+3.
everything.
Yeah, the +3 is correct though. That's
The
yeah,
plus-3 is correct.
yeah.
I just thought it was really funny that the raid notices. Raid is just standing there next there to them. Yeah, I see this going on. That makes sense. All right, but Siegfried notices as well.
Yes.
No, he's the raid.
Do I notice? I don't.
No, you don't.
No.
Do I
There's
notice?
too much going on. No.
Yes, you totally do.
There's a bit of debris sticking out of your eye, Glurk. Oh wait, this wasn't even a natural one.
Yeah, no. Roll a 2.
It's too tough to show it. So, Antonio says...
Anatoly.
Oh, Anatoly, sorry. Anatoly says... So, I think we need to fix this stuff. So let's get to work.
Yes.
All right. Anatoly starts helping around with fixing stuff. You see that the rain is clearly like a bit like, what the fuck's going on? But it's clearly not the time to ask. So he just goes about his
Even
business.
though he saw everything.
I finished my spell.
Yes.
I have made a Tensor's floating disk again, which I didn't have memmed, so it took a while. And so now I have a pretty sturdy and large carrying capacity device so that I can help move wounded, move debris, and stuff like that.
That's
seems
good
like
thinking.
a good way to help out.
Yeah, that seems good.
I thought you were just reading for the hell of it.
I thought he was too.
Like, whatever.
The book was just going like, yeah, it's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Ye of little faith.
No. This is like personal experience.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I imagine that maybe Siegfried and Gil bring the wounded back to Risted or something.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
And Glurk and Alexei help with the physical stuff that still needs to happen outside. And I mean, it continues for a while until the storm starts, lessening a bit, and that things are really under control. And by the time that the situation is under control, it's about you think 5 a.m. And as you guys are kind of together, after everything has gone down, you also notice that there are some soldiers which have helped with helping people that you did not recognize. Now that the storm has kind of passed, you see that they wear uniforms that are not familiar to you.
Okay. Could I figure out where they're from? I mean, I'm a pretty smart guy. I know lots of stuff.
I'm a pretty smart guy.
History, maybe?
Yeah. You can roll a history check.
That's 17?
That's good enough. Let me check.
My history is basically I read a book once.
It didn't stick.
Reluctantly.
So let's see.
I'll be honest, I read the blurb.
You watched the movie and then sent in the book report. Yeah.
Well, they got me a passing grade.
Of course. We went to the same school. We know how this works.
Yeah.
It's really weird. I can't find it.
Oh. Pick it up on the spot.
Right. So there's a province. It's really annoying. Give me a moment to look this up. I'm pretty sure that I've written it down somewhere.
Seven, where's your cat?
So,
which one of them?
I'm going to go ahead.
Yes, here it is. I found it.
All right.
So these soldiers belong to the house Tulan, and they are from a house that has claims to a province east of Ostland, and they have lost the claim to that land since the team that they once managed kind of lost power.
So within Kislev, then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there were some imperial holdings there once, and those are no longer there.
Just for me, this isn't on the map, right? Because I'm looking at the map.
No, it's not on the map. It's not on the map. Do you mind if we take a very, very quick break?
No,
like
sure thing.
5 minutes? Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
Let's do that.
Okay.
So, if you're watching this on YouTube, stay tuned for the next episode. If you're watching this live, we'll be back in a few minutes. Alright YouTube, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, remember to leave it a thumbs up at the bottom. And of course, if you'd like to see more videos, do check out the channel and hit subscribe on your top right.